No one's POV. As Yin left the tall buildings and glowing lights, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. So she decided to remain alert for the time being. Yin, I'm so glad you made it back safely. You were gone for hours, Yin's mother explained. Yin looked at the dark forest behind her. Sorry, Mother, I was caught up in quite a few familiar faces, she said, not mentioning the member of the lower moons in fear of being resorted from leaving. Even if Yin was as strong as Hashira, her mother would have banned her to their house forever if she heard her daughter was hurt by demons. After she was content with Yin's apology, the family was called to eat to dinner. Everyone gathered on the tatami mats, sitting down to make their way to the low dining table to start dinner. Somewhere. I want each of you to take turns, watching the girls' habits in every movements, every night for 3 weeks. You shall report your findings to me by the end of each week. The Demon King had said. The 3 upper moons were lined up and bowed as low as they possibly could. They all uttered a yes, Muzan-sama, and it was decided that this would be the schedule for the next 3 weeks. Week 1, Koboshibo, Upper Moon 1. Week 2, Doma, Upper Moon 2. And Akaza, Upper Moon 3. POV, Kogoshibos, Week 1. As dusk was starting to settle, I had swiftly moved behind the shadows towards the girl's house. The first night was nothing special, but I had started to make sense of the layout of our house from the windows. The second night, she went to the city. She returned with few groceries, assuming it was her family, and had an early night's rest. The third night, she remained at home. It became clear that she had 2 siblings, a younger sister and brother. She looked after them and stayed until they fell asleep, greeted her parents, returned, and went straight to bed. The fourth night was spent on maintaining of her weaponry, so it seems she might be a part of the Demon Slayer course. The 5th, 6th, and 7th night was spent washing her uniform and rest of her family's clothes in a nearby river. Near her, after her return from the city. As I relayed all this information back to Master Muzan, he seemed satisfied with the information present to him, and dismissed me, with the intentions to let Doma know that it was his turn this week. POV, Doma's. Week 2. Boring, I had said in response to Kogoshiba's message from Master Muzan. I dragged out the G to let him understand my annoyance with the whole task, but that master says is what goes. He simply rolled his eyes, 'cause he has 6 of them, get it, at me and told me to get a move on. Oh well, the first night was a drag. The constant utter to devour her was barely manageable, but I must say, I could see why the master has taken an interest in her. She gives off such a strong and passive aura. The second and third night, she took her little siblings to the city. They took her home before dark, of course, but the fourth night was absolutely splendid. That night, she was about to head to a nearby river to wash her haori. When she scraped her ankle on a nearby rock, she missed, as it was already nighttime and only source of light was from the moon. The smell of her blood was intoxicating. How it lingered around one's taste buds without even getting a taste. How blissful hearing her groan from annoyance wasn't even an issue. Her blood was perfect shade of deep crimson, the perfectly concentration, and it smelled more filling than that of a marichi. I decided that no further watching was needed, so I headed straight to the master. This was going to be pleased him very much. Doma, I had not said to you return only by the end of this week. I expect better from an upper moon. What is your excuse? Muzan asked, his head filled with veins out of annoyance with the upper moon two's actions. Muzan-sama, I've returned early as I have information that could possibly wait 3 more days, I said. I remained with my head bowed, a grin appearing on my face, as I knew he would be pleased with the reason for my early return. Speak, he ordered. I graciously nodded my head. You see, Master, her blood is so feeling more than a Marichi. It would be awful for me to make you wait for the news for another 3 nights, I said. His eye widened. Doma, how is it that you know the traits of her blood? I thought it was clear that you will not touch her, he said. She had scraped her ankle on a nearby rock she missed. Just by smelling the scent of her blood made it clear that the power it holds, I said. He seemed to have been satisfied with my answer, then dismissed me to summon Akaza and Kogashibo. My biggest question is, how do you guys like this series so far? Because I know it's short. I don't like short videos. I would love to add them together, but it's supposed to be a suspense story, so yeah. But, remember that question I did ask you? So, yeah, there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And after the story ends, I plan on doing Delight and then another story that is just Muzan for all you Muzan simps. So, yeah. Bye, lovelies!